The FIA regulations enacted to combat porpoising presented F1 teams with short-term and long-term challenges. Is Red Bull Racing capable of adapting? Is Red Bull in big trouble? Let's go ahead and discuss this in detail. What is porpoising? Porpoising is an aerodynamic phenomenon that F1 cars have begun to suffer from since the adoption of the so-called ground effect philosophy, in which air is sucked underneath a car to pull it down onto the ground at high speed, rather than over the top of the car to push it down. So far, so good. The problem is that the faster you go, the more a car wants to be sucked to the ground, and if it gets too close, it can cause the airflow to stall, which means the downforce created drops off a cliff. The car then accelerates upwards. To elaborate, F1's new rules result from a desire to see cars follow each other more closely. Getting close enough to a rival to launch a Daniel Ricciardo-style takeover was difficult under the old rules because the way the cars created downforce left a wake of turbulent air. If you got stuck in this dirty air, you'd lose downforce, making overtaking more difficult. It's the main reason why F1 cars have the DRS or drag reduction system, which is a flap in the rear wing that increases top speed and that drivers can activate when they're within a second of the car ahead of them. By 2022, F1 has introduced new rules designed to make racing closer and more exciting. It's a significant change from previous regulations, which means the teams have had to start from scratch this season. It's why Mercedes is no longer winning the majority of races, and why commentators worldwide keep referring to porpoising. This has left many fans wondering, what exactly is porpoising? It's a fair question. Even seasoned F1 fans struggle to understand all the jargon, and porpoising is just the most recent addition to the list, following in the footsteps of pit window, red flagged, DRS zone, and everything in between. The FIA World Motorsport Council has released revised F1 floor regulations for next year and new engine rules for 2023. What are they, and who stands to benefit the most from them? The World Motorsport Council has issued a slew of new F1 rules and regulations to combat the phenomenon of porpoising. Porpoising has now dominated the media headlines all season, threatening to derail Mercedes' season. The bouncing effect at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix was so severe that Lewis Hamilton could not exit his Mercedes cockpit within the FIA's extraction time limit. With safety concerns, though Ferrari and Red Bull may disagree, the FIA has decided to take action with a technical directive for the next race in Belgium, with additional changes for 2023. Who will they impact the most? It's difficult to say how much impact the cars will have until they hit the track in Bahrain next year. The 2021 floor changes had a greater impact than intended, with low-rake cars like Mercedes and Aston Martin being severely hampered, while Red Bull and AlphaTauri benefited the most. 6 teams were reported to be opposed to the changes for 2023, but because it is a safety concern, the FIA does not require their approval. Red Bull team owner Christian Horner has been the most vocal in his opposition to the new regulations. Horner stated ahead of the Hungarian Grand Prix that the FIA should not change the rules in favor of Mercedes. On the other hand, Mercedes has constantly pushed for the rules to be changed, citing safety concerns. Another consequence of the late change is the budget cap. Because of global inflation and its impact on freight costs and materials, the FIA was forced to raise the budget cap. As a result of the new rules, teams will have to redesign and change their 2023 car concepts, raising costs yet again. How the new rules affect performance remains to be seen, but Red Bull and Ferrari's complaints speak volumes. The engine regulations for 2026 have also been finalized, making Porsche and Audi eligible to compete. The existing V6 power units will be retained, but the MGU-H motor generator unit heat will not be. They will also use 100% sustainable fuels, making it even more appealing to new manufacturers. There will also be an increase in electrical power, with the MGHK producing around 350 kilowatts, a 120 kilowatt increase. The FIA continues to push forward on innovation and sustainability across our entire motorsport portfolio. The 2026 Formula One power unit regulations are the most high-profile example of that mission, said FIA President Mohammed Ben Sulayem. The introduction of advanced PU technology and synthetic sustainable fuels align with our goal of delivering benefits to road users while meeting our net zero carbon target by 2030. Formula One is experiencing tremendous growth, and we are confident that these regulations will build on the excitement generated by our 2022 changes. I'd like to thank all the FIA management and technical staff involved in this process for their hard work and dedication in collaborating with all our Formula One stakeholders to deliver this. I'd also like to thank our WMSC members for taking the time to review and approve these regulations. The Mercedes and Red Bull perspectives, as well as an explanation of F1's new regulation. There will be a new technical directive for the Belgian GP this weekend, as the FIA looks to crack down on porpoising. There may be a performance impact at the front. George Russell believes Red Bull and Ferrari pushed the regulations during the first half of the season and hopes the new technical directive for the Belgian Grand Prix slows down Mercedes' F1 rivals. After months of debate over concerns about the 2022 car's porpoising, a change is coming this weekend in Spa with a new rule that focuses on driver safety and controlling the bouncing, while also limiting the use of flexi floors, an area 2022's fastest teams Red Bull and Ferrari are thought to have exploited as opposed to Mercedes. The World Championships have been surprisingly slow this season, but they insist they have been more conservative in using the car's floor, which can significantly impact performance. Spa will be interesting, Russell said to Sky Sports. Some minor regulations have been changed which may attract other teams. Mercedes had previously hesitated to accuse Red Bull and Ferrari directly, but there is no doubt that Ferrari and Red Bull have pushed the regulations in that regard, and that we've respected it as the regulation was intended. The Belgian GP, the first race after the summer break, is all live on Sky Sports F1. The new technical directive adds another layer of intrigue, although whether it hinders Red Bull and Ferrari remains to be seen. There's no guarantee it'll bring them closer to us, Russell admitted. We know it would slow us down if it was on our car. Every car is different, but it'll not help them in any way. While Red Bull and Ferrari have expressed their displeasure with the TD's arrival, they have both stated that the floor changes will not affect their performance. We just have to be careful not to overshoot here and cause a major regulation change at this time of the year, Christian Horner said before the summer break. The technical directive does not concern me. That I don't believe has any bearing on us. Mercedes' greater area of the exposed floor was effectively a cantilever, making it much more difficult to control owing to a very different upper body aero concept than Red Bull and Ferrari. Later, limitations in the suspension's mechanical aspects became apparent in controlling the car's ride. Then it became clear that Ferrari and Red Bull had interpreted the regulations regarding the mounting of the underfloor plank differently, allowing the plank to sink deeper into the floor as it touched the ground, providing a cushioning effect to the ride. That interpretation will no longer be considered valid as of this weekend in Spa. If, as other teams believe, that mounting method allows for a 5 to 6 mm lower rear ride height, it could be worth around 0.2 to 0.3 seconds of lap time. Despite setting pole in Hungary due to a favorable set of circumstances, no healthy Red Bulls in Q3, Ferrari way out of the tire temperature window, the Mercedes was still around 0.5 seconds off the final pace. So, the Spa TD could help Mercedes close the gap at the front, but to compete on equal terms with Ferrari and Red Bull, more development is likely. We can already tell that this GP will be amazing and full of F1 action and drama, and we hope to see these champions compete with each other with full excitement because they know what their fans want. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like and share the video with your friends and family.